Okay, boys and girls, we're going to be talking about epithelial tissue in particular, but first we should know that there are 4 types of tissues. And you can see there are 4 types here: epithelial, connective tissue, muscle tissue, and nervous tissue. And there are similarities between these tissue types. Can you see what these similarities are? So very simply here, all of these tissue types contain cells, and these are the cells that make up tissues. The cells that make up tissues have similar functions. So from that, it should help us to understand the basic types. So generally talking about these, there are layers and there are different types of cells. Let's talk about epithelial tissue here, and I'm going to ask a question. What type of layer is one layer? You call that simple. What would you call more than one layer? That's stratified. What if it is false layered? It appears to be more than one layer, but actually it's only one layer. And let's say, for example, it's ciliated, meaning it has cilia. Then we call it pseudo-stratified. Let's talk about the cell shapes. What if the cells are flat? That's called squamous. What if it's in a cube shape? We'd say cuboidal. And what if it is rectangular or in a column shape? Then we call it columnar. And what if it has the ability to change shape, for example in the bladder? Then we would call it transitional. So we're going to talk more in detail about these, but there are some characteristics of epithelial tissue, for example, we should understand. First is that it covers and lines the organs and the cavity walls, and that it forms boundaries. And as for the special characteristics of epithelial tissue, we should know that it's used for protection, absorption, filtration, secretion, and excretion, for example the kidney. And it exhibits polarity. There are 2 types, 2 parts of it. We have the apical, superior side, and the basal or inferior surface. One very important thing to know about epithelial tissue is that it is avascular. There are no veins, arteries, but it is innervated, so there are nerves. So if you cut yourself, you have gone through the top layers of your skin and you've reached lower levels, because the higher epithelial tissue has no blood vessels in it. Next, it is supported by connective tissue. Cells are attached to what's called a basement membrane, and it has the ability to regenerate, if you can think of how skin cells often slough off. And remember that it is cellular. So that is a basic introduction.